Is your culture shaping how you think? Has it destroyed your ability to think independently, critically? What if everything you believe to be logical is only logical within your culture? What if the very rules of reasoning you trust are not universal truths at all, but cultural habits that shape how you think, judge, and decide? What if I told you that what counts as logical and rational in one culture might look completely irrational in another? That the very way you decide what makes sense is not timeless truth, but the product of cultural conditioning, a lens that can both sharpen and distort your vision of reality.
Welcome to Critical Thinking Secrets, the channel that gets you to think, well, critically.
Every culture shapes how people decide what makes sense. What counts as good reasoning in New York may look shallow in Tokyo. What feels like thorough analysis in London may seem blind to the bigger picture in Beijing. Western cultures often favor breaking problems into parts, dissecting them with direct logic. Eastern cultures tend to look at the whole picture, searching for connections and balance. Picture a diverse group of people around a conference table. One argues point by point, citing evidence like a lawyer. Another listens quietly, then responds with a story that ties the issue to history, relationships, and harmony. Both believe they are being rational. Both are right within their cultural logic. But here's the deeper truth. These differences go beyond preference. They shape how students learn, how leaders govern, and how societies decide what is fair. A Western analyst may see a policy as airtight because the numbers add up. An Eastern thinker may reject it entirely because it ignores relationships, traditions, or the balance of the whole. What one culture calls critical thinking, another might call fragmented thinking. What one culture calls holistic wisdom, another might dismiss as vague storytelling. Yet both are attempts to make sense of the world. Look closely at those faces. Behind every expression is a lifetime of cultural conditioning. Some are waiting for evidence, others are waiting for harmony. Some want clarity, others want connection. And this is the stage on which global debates unfold. Not just about economics or politics, but about the very definition of rationality itself.
Critical thinking isn't about being a skeptic. It's about being a seeker. You're not trying to poke holes for the sake of it. You're aiming for the best outcome with the information you have. We've only scratched the surface. The Critical Thinking Toolkit is full of checklists, mental models, and hands-on guides to help you sidestep common pitfalls and think with clarity and confidence. Whether you're solving problems, making decisions, or just trying to sharpen your perspective, it's a resource you'll keep coming back to. Curious? Check out the link in the description.
Take international diplomacy. Western negotiators often push for clear contracts, deadlines, and measurable outcomes. Eastern negotiators may prioritize trust, long-term relationships, and subtle signals of respect. Notice the ritual: a cup of tea, a bow, a gift exchanged. These gestures are not decoration, they are logic in action. In Eastern traditions, respect and harmony are the foundation of rational negotiation. To ignore them is to miss the very structure of reasoning itself. Now look at Venezuela. Left-leaning thinkers in the United States, often influenced by Eastern holistic traditions, described the removal of Nicolás Maduro as a kidnapping of a legitimate ruler. Right-leaning voices framed it as the ousting of a tyrant who stole power and position. Same event, two radically different interpretations of what counts as reasonable. Consider Greenland. For some, the idea of buying or claiming territory is absurd, even offensive. For others, it is seen as a logical extension of national interest. Cultural logic defines whether such a proposal is dismissed as irrational or embraced as strategic. Or the International Criminal Court. Some nations see ICC rulings as the pinnacle of justice. Others reject them outright, arguing that sovereignty and cultural independence outweigh external judgment. Closer to home, Somali refugees in the United States have been accused of exploiting taxpayer systems. Many within their communities do not see this as theft, but as a cultural right rooted in survival and communal redistribution. What one culture calls corruption, another calls tradition. And history reminds us that clashes can turn deadly. The Hutu and Tutsi genocide in Rwanda was not just political, but cultural. Each group carried its own logic of identity, belonging, and justice. When those logics collided, the result was catastrophic. These examples show that cultural frameworks do not just color our reasoning, they define it. What feels rational in one worldview can look like hypocrisy or madness in another. Research shows these differences happen at both conscious and unconscious levels. People apply their cultural thinking patterns without realizing it. A Western student might instinctively ask, "What's the evidence?" An Eastern student might instinctively ask, "How does this fit into the bigger picture?" Neither is wrong, but if they don't understand each other, they clash. Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. Aristotle's logic shaped Western thought, break problems into premises and conclusions. Confucian and Taoist traditions shaped Eastern thought, seek balance, harmony, and the middle way. So when one culture sees critical thinking as sharp analysis, another may see it as missing the forest for the trees. Here's the good news. Exposure to diverse thinking styles improves problem-solving and cognitive flexibility. When Western analytical minds meet Eastern holistic minds, innovation explodes. Think of global companies like Samsung or Apple. Their success comes not just from technology, but from blending cultural logics, precision engineering with creative storytelling, holistic design with analytical marketing. Watch how it happens. A circuit board, precise and technical, dissolves into a storyboard, creative and human. Two worlds of thought, two cultural logics, merging into a single product concept. This is the power of diversity, the fusion of detail and vision, of logic and imagination. When cultures collide constructively, they don't just solve problems, they redefine what problems can be solved. They create phones that feel intuitive, cars that think for themselves, medicines that heal faster, and art that speaks across borders. The lesson is clear. Diversity is not a challenge to overcome. It is the engine of innovation. When we learn to value different ways of thinking, we unlock possibilities that no single culture could achieve alone. Diversity gives us the spark of innovation, but sparks alone are not enough. To truly harness the power of different ways of thinking, we must learn how to teach, share, and adapt critical thinking across cultures. The classroom becomes the crucible where cultural logics meet, clash, and ultimately fuse into new forms of reasoning. Instruction matters too. Teaching critical thinking in diverse classrooms means adapting. Western students may need to learn patience with ambiguity. Eastern students may need to practice direct debate. Inclusive learning environments don't erase cultural differences. They harness them. Watch the classroom unfold. One group debates fiercely, voices rising and falling as they test arguments against each other. Another group journals quietly, mapping systems and connections across the page. Both are practicing critical thinking, but through different cultural lenses. For the Western student, the challenge is to embrace uncertainty, to sit with questions that have no immediate answers. For the Eastern student, the challenge is to step into direct confrontation, to sharpen ideas through dialogue rather than harmony alone. When teachers adapt instruction to these differences, something remarkable happens. Debate and reflection, analysis and synthesis, evidence and empathy, all begin to coexist in the same space. The classroom becomes not just a place of learning, but a laboratory of cultural logic, where students discover that multiple paths can lead to deeper understanding. In a globalized society, critical thinking is evolving. We can no longer afford to define rationality through one cultural lens. The future belongs to those who can switch lenses, challenge assumptions, and embrace multiple logics at once. So here's the challenge. Next time you call someone irrational, ask yourself, irrational by whose standards? Logic is not a universal language, it is a cultural dialect. The psychology of ethics taught us that intuition and reasoning must work together. The psychology of culture teaches us that rationality itself is plural. Critical thinking is not about choosing Western analysis or Eastern holism. It is about daring to see through both eyes, to confront hypocrisy, and to act with consistency. And the bridge that makes this possible, the discipline that turns cultural difference into human progress, is critical thinking.
Thank you for joining us today. Enjoyed this video? For a more in-depth analysis, visit our website, www.criticalthinkingsecrets.com to read the full article. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with our latest weekly release content. We have over 300 videos on our channel to help kickstart your critical thinking journey. Also, as an added bonus, just for supporting our channel, you can download our free critical thinking ebook. So go ahead and click the link below. Till next time, keep those critical thinking gears turning. Thank you for watching.